Hello everyone, welcome to Chess Gaja channel. I'm Grandmaster Priyadharshan and we have one of our students today on our show, and it is Gurugrahan from USA. And why we have Gurugrahan is because Gurugrahan did something amazing. He just beat a Grandmaster in a recently held tournament. So we'd like to talk to Gurugrahan about the game, and we are going to analyze about it as well. So Gurugrahan is a 10-year-old student from Chess Gaja, and welcome to the video today, Gurugrahan. How are you?
I'm doing good, sir. Thank you.
And so,
It's
can you tell a bit more about this tournament and this particular game? So maybe what tournament was it, and how was the overall tournament first of all?
so I played in a tournament called US North Amateur Team Championship. I got 3.5 out of 5. We
And
played
about
in
this
a,
particular game, who did you play against, and how did it go?
so I played against a GM named Dmitry Gurevich.
Okay, and it was like, is it like the first time you are playing a Grandmaster, or have you played Grandmasters before as well in other tournaments?
In a tournament in October, I played a Grandmaster. That time I lost with a different Grandmaster. Now,
Okay,
and in
okay,
another tournament, in a Blitz tournament, I played this Grandmaster and lost him. And now I won him in the
okay,
classic.
okay. And for the audience, Dmitry Gurevich is a very like respected grandmaster who's been playing for a very long time, and his current FIDE rating is about 2350 and used to have a peak rating of somewhere around 2520. And so like when you got the pairing, like what was it like? Have you seen him play before, or what did you do for preparation, Gurugrahan? Like what were you how did you approach the before the game started? Like what did you do any preparation? Like did you
So,
prepare anything specific when once you saw the pairings for the grand when you were playing Grandmaster Guruvich?
well, before the tournament, I practiced by analyzing on board. So that helped me to defeat this Grandmaster.
Okay, fantastic. So can you go ahead and maybe share your screen so we can go and discuss and analyze this game?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, yeah, we see your screen. Fantastic. Yeah. So yeah, you can start moving pieces and explain maybe at some points where you were figuring out some things or analyzing Gurugram. Yeah.
Yeah. So it started out like I played the Nimzo Indian defense, and then he played Botvinnik variation.
Okay. So D4, knight F6. So this is like kind of like your normal, like what you normally play against D4. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And did you like prepare anything specific in this game? Like were you looking at the chess-based games before once the pairings was there? Like did you have some idea that you were going to get Nimzo Indian? Anything like that?
Yes, sir.
No, not really. Okay, fine. Okay. Keep going. C4, E6, knight C3, bishop B4, E3. Yeah. And at what point were you like on your own, like in terms of theory, you were not like you were out of your preparation in this game?
Mm. It would be somewhere around when he played A3 in 10th move.
Okay, okay. So you played this particular setup before as well, like not just prepared, but you've had some other games and other tournaments with other players.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Castle, okay. Okay. Okay, so I think you said this is where you were on your own, right? So
Yeah.
what was like the thought process? Like why? I mean, I know it's a big question. Where do we put the bishop? A5, D6, F8, or C3? So what was going on in your mind when you had this position, and how did you decide on bishop A5?
Well, I was thinking about putting pressure on the knight
Okay, why do you need to put pressure on the knight?
because I can try to stop the e4 break, and also bishop b6 can also put pressure on d4, so that will delay um the e4 break.
Okay, but did you consider the other lines also, like bishop f8 or bishop d6, or like bishop
Yeah.
a5 was your first intuitive move, like that you were like seriously considering?
Oh, kind of. Bishop d6, I was stuck between e4 and then d4, fe4. I don't know. I didn't know what to do next.
Would
So
you try c5 there, or would it be a bad idea? Like after d4, fe4, c5, or directly
mm,
for e4 going c5,
this e5.
c takes d4? I think, the general understanding of these structures, what I do from my experience is we have to play like c5 when white is getting prepared for e4. Like when white is getting ready for, like when white plays f3, we should play c5. That is the general, like, logic of these structures. So, but I see that we are allowing e4 here, but that's why I'm still thinking c5 might be a possibility, because what I think is, I don't know if you considered it in the game, but it just looks interesting to calculate, because for e4 itself, maybe we can play c5 without, taking d4 and fe4. If we play c5 and let's say, what do you think? Ed5 or e5? Because e5, as I said, c takes d4, we have there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then e takes f6, d takes c3. That's a complicated position. Yeah, that is one point. And what did you consider, maybe bishop takes c3 as well, or no? Like just maybe taking there and trying to play something like
Yeah.
c5 then.
Yeah. Bishop takes c3 and then b takes c3.
Okay. And then you thought then they'll play e4, yeah, because
Yeah.
d4 is even further strengthened. And if you
Yeah.
play bishop a5 here, what if they still play e4? What was your idea?
d4
Fe4.
and then maybe c5 then.
Okay, then c5. And now if you do go, let's say d5, I mean, white goes d5, sorry.
Knight e5.
Okay, knight e5 and bishop c2. And you think you kind of, I mean, you believe you have some dark square like control, like especially d6 or that b8 h2 diagonal.
Yeah.
Okay, it's an interesting position, I would say. But I feel like once we allow d5 and go bishop c7, white will also have some bishop f4 ideas and so on. Um, I just have a feeling like it might be slightly easier to play as white there. It just looks like that to me. But I'm entirely not. I mean, I don't think it's bad, but I think it's easy to play for. It's not bad for black, but I think the ideas are more natural for white, like, bishop f4, and then maybe h3 if we need to kick the knight away, if something's on g4, and then go like queen d2, rook a d1, and the center pawns are uh, very solid, yeah, because there's two defenders, knight on c3, bishop on c2, and also white might go knight g3 and some knight f5 ideas. So it's easy for white in terms of plan, I don't see that being easy for black. But I certainly like, or not like, more of I'm interested as either bishop d6, e4, c5, or also bishop f8, e4 also we can play c5. The reason is because what I think is, let's say bishop f8, e4, c5 we play. And then if they play some knight takes d5, knight d5, e d5, then we can go knight f6.
Yeah.
Right? And we'll be
Yeah.
able to pick queen takes d5 or knight takes d5, and so on. Because in a lot of lines in these lines, what like the d like even if white has one extra pawn, I think it'll still be extremely weak. We'll be able to then maybe go even b6, bishop b7, queen d7, rook a d8, and at one point you'll like knight d5 will come. Yeah. Maybe we can just make those moves on the board. Can you maybe go bishop f8? I'm actually more curious of bishop f8 actually. It's I think slightly more safer than, and let's say if white goes e4 here, and now c5. So, now if the center gets destroyed, f3 move actually becomes like a weakness, that diagonal and the e3 square specifically. Yeah.
Yeah.
But okay, e5 is interesting, I think. No.
E5 and then
cd4, ef6, dc3, fg7. So this tempo kind of thing is there because they're attacking the bishop. And now it is like,
Bishop takes g7 or bishop c5 check are good.
yeah, I think bishop g7, but then knight takes c3, like
Yeah.
slightly weak king side. It's okay. Like bishop g7, knight c3, we have to play some sort of knight. Okay, I just realized that might be a interesting, like funny line. Knight c3, I thought maybe knight c5, but then that was knight d5. But we have bishop d4 check. Does it work, that tactic? Before we take the queen. Bishop d4 check. But then still he might go knight e3 or bishop e. Knight e3 might be. No, knight e3, we have rook e3.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bishop
so,
e3 also we have rook e3. Oh, but
or we can
then
just take bishop takes e3 and queen
yeah.
takes e3, no? Yeah.
Yeah.
So nice intermediate thing, because normally queen d5, bishop h7 tactic, but we have an intermediate check and then we win. So I think knight c5, and after like knight c5, d4, d3 is a big threat. So I think black has quite a bit of activity here to compensate for the slightly weak king side, I feel like here. Yeah, especially the bishops on g7 gets active very much, and that diagonal b6 b6 g1 gives some compensation for black. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, because my understanding, as I said, is c5 is very, very crucial idea in these structures. Yeah, important to stop e4. Most of the time c5 is like the idea. Okay, so let's get back to the game. So what happened? And so you went bishop a5 there.
Bishop a5
Yeah,
and then
and
b4.
b4.
Bishop
So your
b4.
opponent basically killed the c5 idea completely. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And then king h1. Okay. So you were expecting him to play e4, right?
Yeah.
So why bishop c7? Why didn't you like maybe do some knight e6 or something to discourage him from playing e4?
Well, I thought there could be some tactics like how the game went. E4,
Okay.
d4, f4, and knight g4.
Okay. So you are going after that. Okay, fine. And then h3.
Well, we got the queens traded now.
Okay. And after queen exchange, like how did you evaluate this position? Were you were thinking you were okay, or you were under some pressure, or what was like going on?
I was thinking like I was okay in this position.
Okay, oh, got it. And like you were not worried, even though the strong center is there, giving so much flexibility for white's finer pieces to develop.
Yeah, because it could get weak sometime.
Okay. And for example, when you exchange the queen, like what if queen h5 or something without taking the queen, like on 17th move?
Yeah,
Would it,
queen
or was
h5.
there something bad about queen h5, like knight f4 or knight g3?
Queen h5 and then knight g3, yeah.
Knight g3, yeah. And we lose the, I mean, we give up our double bishop as well. Yeah, we have to take
Yeah.
bishop g3. Okay, got it. Can we go back to the game? Yeah.
So
You
queen takes e1, rook e1, then knight f6,
okay?
bishop g5,
Okay.
knight h5,
Yeah.
rook f1, then knight e6.
Okay. So something else was better, yeah, instead of knight e6 here, because it blocks both the bishop and the rook's path. But where your idea itself like to go g5 and knight, like you really wanted to control that f4 square, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, keep going. Yeah.
Bishop e3 and g5,
So then
e5.
he goes e5 to exploit the weakness. So g5 is a very committal decision, right? Like a very long-term weakness. That's kind of the issue I see with g5 as a move, because f6 weakness is very permanent, and I mean defending g5 is also going to be a big problem. And yeah, your bishop is now 1c7, just very bad. But okay, let's keep going. Okay,
Rook
rook
b8, knight
d8.
e4,
Yeah,
knight f4.
okay. So at this point, you were still like having this feeling the question is about equal, or you thought maybe you were slightly getting worse, or
Yeah, a little worse.
okay. And how was like clockwise? Like you were having similar timings, or were you low on
Clockwise,
time?
clockwise, I was low on time.
And he had okay, like extra time than you, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like, I had 28 minutes, he had 45 minutes.
Okay. Okay. And okay, keep going. Yeah.
47. Then he did bishop takes f4.
And okay.
E4,
And then EF4.
rook a d1,
Okay. So yeah.
bishop d6, d5,
Yeah.
cd5, knight d5, and bishop d7.
So now you are losing the F4 pawn, but you are hoping for some
Yeah,
compensation. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Knight F4, knight F4.
F4.
And he could have taken knight b6 and then gone rook f4. That would have been
Yeah,
better, right? Yeah.
yeah,
Because but can't you not capture? So if you take a3, there is rook f d4. Yeah, in that position.
yeah, yeah.
So knight b6, a b6, rook f4, and we might have to move our bishop, maybe bishop e6, but ex exchange of rooks. And but I do believe you have some practical chances to draw, even though you're a pawn down there in that position, because
Yeah,
the
kind
extra pawn is on e5, and I don't think it's such a like strong extra pawn. Like, I think black has enough targets to attack a3, e5, and so on. And black's rook having the open file come here. I think blacks should be able to like, pose enough problems to make a draw, I feel like here. Yeah.
of.
And okay, so maybe that's why your opponent thought going into this would be very simplified, and he thought he wanted to take knight f4. Okay.
Okay, so
Bishop b3. So if you had, instead of bishop b3, if you gave knight h5 check, what would happen? You just go king h6.
yeah, knight h5 check and then king h6.
And okay, if you play, if I think maybe he's forced to go knight f6, but that's not that big. Yeah, you can take on c2 even.
Well, I was. Yeah, maybe you can take on c2.
Yeah, and go into that position. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Got it. And what is this rook takes d7 line that you have on your notes?
Um, Rook takes d7, rook takes d7, and then bishop f5.
Okay. And just piece exchange, and that's
Yeah.
also one pawn up, but some compensation for black. Okay. Okay, so let's keep going. So I think he wanted to target f7, makes sense. But like knight h5 check is coming up after bishop b3. Yeah. Bishop
And
b.
then he does second exchange.
Like any specific, like any logic that you can think of why he sacrificed, or
Maybe for that pawn. Like, I think he thought he could promote the pawn somehow.
okay. But he could have simply played I mean, if not for sacrifice, what could he have done? He could have simply taken the rook and moved rook f3, right? Something like that.
Yeah, rook f3 is good.
Yeah. As you don't have any back rank check on d1, it is
Yeah.
and knight h5 check is coming up possibly after that, and so on. So yeah. So what was like, well, how did you like react when e6 was played? Like, did you think it was a blunder, or do you thought
Um,
it was a
I
very
thought it
strong move?
was I thought it was like a maybe a good move, but not that best.
Okay. And you would have also been low on clock by now, right? Like even low, like maybe
Yeah.
10 minutes or so by now.
Yeah.
So how much time did you take to play bishop f1?
About 1 minute.
Okay. So like what did you calculate for bishop f1? Just rook f1 alone, or any other additional
Yeah,
lines for
rook
white?
well, rook f1 is the only best move, I thought.
Okay. And here you have a bunch of options. So how did you navigate bishop c7? Because I see maybe rook c3, f5. I mean, fe6 is bad, but 2, 3 options. So how did you like choose bishop c7 here?
Well, rook c3, and then they could do e7, and then rook e8.
Yeah.
They could do knight d5 or bishop a4. Well, I didn't think those were good. So
No, if they go bishop a4, rook takes e7, then you can go knight d5. But by then it is equal, right? Like, and I mean, both the rooks are attacked, but you can defend one of the rooks, or even you have
yeah,
rook takes a3 there.
yeah.
Hmm. But rook c3 allows, I'm also curious, is some knight h5 check idea seem a bit interesting to me. I don't know if it would work, but knight c3, then playing e7 is, so the line that fascinates me is, let's say rook c3, knight h5 check, king g6, then going e7, because then you have bishop f7 check.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
this is quite fast. I think this might be a winning line for white, and so on.
Well, you can do rook into b3.
That is true. Rook e3, you're right. But wait, can I go? Oh, it doesn't work. I was thinking of rook f6 check and rook takes b6, but then you just simply move your rook e8
Yeah,
or something.
rook f6 and then king h5, rook
Right.
b6 and
Rook
rook
rook e8, and yes. So yeah. Yeah, this is and if you play e takes rook, you have bishop takes queen, and black's doing fine. Actually, black might even start to be better because the rook on b3 is way more active. Okay.
Mm.
So I think rook c3 might be interesting. I think there might be some lines here. Okay,
Yeah.
let's keep going with the game.
So I did bishop c7,
Okay.
and then e7, rook e8, knight d5, bishop
Are you
d6.
worried of some knight h5 check or something, or not really in that position?
No,
If
not
knight
really.
h5, where were you going to put the king?
To h6.
Okay. And then you pick up the e7 pawn next move. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Knight d5, bishop d6. Well, I knew I was gonna lose my exchange, but he did not do that.
Okay.
Then bishop takes e7.
So you were expecting knight f5 here.
Yeah. Well, I was expecting knight f5 and bishop a4.
Okay. Which one you thought was like the strongest during the game for white? Or like there must be some line you might have worried about, right? If he
Yeah.
did it, I don't know what to do. Which was it? Like, or which line? Was it
Well, I also thought he would do rook takes f7 check, and that's what he did in the game.
okay? Okay, so that was your primary idea. But how does he win the exchange back? If he played it right, like what should
Well,
white do to win the exchange? Like, is there a way
in
for
this
white to win?
position, bishop a4 wins the exchange.
Yeah, but that is just equal, no? In the sense, materially, if you
Yeah.
just play rook takes e7 and
Yeah.
yeah, so it's not. So white doesn't really have an advantage in that from the start of that exchange sacrifice itself. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like a very okay, fine. Okay, so let's keep going. Yeah.
And then rook takes f7 check,
Okay.
king g6.
So why did you choose g6? Generally, h8 might look like a safer square, right? Like you are okay. How did you decide on g6 over h8?
Well, g6, that I was thinking it was more safe because now the bishop was tied to the rook, and I could also it makes it easier for me to protect h7 because if king h8, then bishop c2 is there.
Mm, got it. Got it. Okay. Okay, makes sense. I was just trying to understand. Okay. So king g6, rook f1, and then
And then rook f8, rook
okay.
b1, bishop g5,
Yeah.
knight c4.
So at this point, how were you approaching it? You thought you had an advantage, or were you still
Yeah.
like trying to think, okay, my opponent still has enough compensation for the exchange? What was like your
Well,
thought process?
I knew I was winning, but I was low in time.
Okay. And there was no increment on 40 moves
No,
or such, yeah?
no.
Okay, so it's like
It was
you,
60 delay 5.
oh, okay. So the whole game you are basically playing, like at this point, you just had less than 5 minutes or so,
Yeah.
and you're just playing on the delay, yeah, basically. And was your opponent also low on time by now, or he was having a
Mhm.
somewhat of
He
a
was he was like at 15 or 10 minutes.
okay, okay. So okay, keep going with the game. Okay,
I was slowly making progress in this position.
okay. And you were kind of your idea was to like kind of go into the seventh rank, like rook e2, rook
Yeah.
f2. That was your idea, major idea.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, keep going. Okay, you went rook b2 here, but you
Yeah.
could have gone. But rook d2 would, yeah, rook d2 would have been a better idea, right? Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Okay, keep going. Rook. Okay.
Bishop f2, king f3,
F3.
bishop h4.
Okay, so you were building a mating net. He stops it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Knight e4. Okay. Bishop e6, rook f8. Okay. Okay. G5. So obviously it's like mutual time trouble. Yeah, you're just playing on your intuition purely at this point.
Yeah.
Okay. King h8. So why didn't maybe he try to repeat, like just trying to understand, was it because I know it's team tournament was his team, like they had to win this game to beat your team, or what was the situation and your other boards?
Not really.
Like
The other,
yeah.
the first board, in my team lost,
Okay.
and I was the second in order.
Okay.
So this was my game.
So what about third and fourth? Those games over
Third
by
and,
then also?
no, third and fourth, my team was winning.
So basically they had to win. I mean, your opponent team had to win this game to make a draw, 2-2.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's why he was, I mean, even if he wanted to take a draw in this game, that would like lose. I mean, it would make his team lose. So he had to take the risk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Makes sense. Okay. Okay. But at this point, were you kind of a bit worried you might get checkmated?
No,
Or
not really.
okay.
But I was worried about the draw.
Okay. Oh, that okay. So he might be able to force a draw. Got it. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, now I thought I was winning.
Okay. And I think you went on to play another 20, 30 moves, yeah?
Yeah.
So eventually what happened? Like how did you did you
Then
manage to exchange the rooks, or what did you do?
eventually, I got his knight.
Oh, you just
And
won his knight. Okay.
yeah.
With both the rooks on the board.
Yeah.
Okay. And a pawn, was it there also, or like a pawn got exchanged or captured?
No, well, I had the a pawn with me,
Okay.
but
Okay.
I did not try to advance it.
Okay. Got it. Got it. Okay. So, and once you won a piece, it's fairly straightforward. So,
I
but did
also
it?
won the h pawn.
Oh, you won the hedge point, because that's what I was going to ask. I was going to ask if he managed to do some h4, h5 or something at some point. He couldn't. Okay. Got it. Got it. Fantastic. So then, and then like after the game, I don't know, did you talk to opponent? Did he say anything, or
Yeah.
was he sharing some ideas, or like what he was thinking, anything?
He said that I did not give him any chance
Got
when we were in the time trouble.
it. Okay. Okay. So yeah, fantastic. So like if not for that exchange sack, that's kind of where the game kind of uh, sw- evaluation switched, yeah, when he
Yeah.
went for that exchange sack.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. And any other things you want to add from this game? Anything specific, like moments, anything where um so so once you got, as you were saying, like once you had that extra exchange, you were clearly like, okay, if I play it right, I can win this game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you were not really thinking at any point, or we'll maybe somehow force a draw? Did some thought like that happen, or you were more like, let's try to play and win this game?
Well, when I had like 1 minute and he had 2 minutes 30 seconds, I offered him a draw, but he declined it
Okay.
because I had low time. But eventually, he had lower time than me.
And he never offered a draw, yeah, at any
Yeah,
point
he
in time.
did.
Okay.
He didn't.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Fantastic, Guruhan. Thanks for showing the game. So yeah, I think one thing, as I said, from what I noted in this game is that maybe that C5 break, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you should, I would say, like maybe study that particular position, or maybe 1, 2 moves earlier from that position, also a bit deeper. Yeah. Because this
Yeah.
whole idea, can you maybe go back to that around move 8 or 9 somewhere? Around
Yeah.
that point. Just yeah, around maybe here, anywhere over here. I mean, white's major ideas, as you see with f3 is e4, or sometimes white will go g4, knight g3, h4, g5. Yeah, some pawn
Yeah.
push like that. So that structures, if you study it in this positions, it will really like, help you better understand these positions. Those two are the major ideas for white. Yeah, f3, e4, or f3, g4, knight g3, knight f5. And for E4 ideas, C5 is the major plan that I know. For G4 also, you would have to counter attack in the center. So C5 is kind of the key idea, but the most important thing is timing C5 is very, very important. Like you have to time it perfectly. And before they can build enough attack or pressure on the king side, you have to play C5 and quickly go knight c6 and so on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So now that once you beat the grandmaster, how does it feel beating your first grandmaster?
It feels nice.
Nice. Okay. So, okay. And like, what did you like? I mean, as you said, you already have played grandmasters before, and before the game, you approached it like, today I'm going to play for a win like that, or you just went into the game saying, okay, I'm just going to play and whatever result happens
I was playing for a win.
right from the start.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So, and I'm sure this win would have given you a lot of confidence now that when you
Yeah.
play more grandmasters in the future, you can be like, we can fight against them. Yeah.
Yeah.
And during the game, did you notice like anything in terms of calculation? You are like, oh, my opponent is out calculating me, or did you have that kind of thought process anywhere? Like, okay, I can see the difference between my thought process and maybe how a grandmaster thinks, something like that you were able to sense anywhere?
Yeah.
Like which moment or which move, which you could kind of maybe think like that?
When he was like somewhere around here.
Okay. What was that thinking? Like, what were you thinking? Maybe, like how he played e5, knight e4.
Yeah.
Okay. So this e5, knight e4 was something you did not expect.
Yeah, not really.
Okay. Got it. Got it. Fantastic. Fantastic. So great, Guru, and thank you for showing the game. You can stop screen sharing. Yeah. So now I know your USCF rating is around 1946, right? Right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fantastic. And you have any upcoming tournaments coming up?
Yeah. And 14, 15, 16.
Okay. So, and you have any like like immediate goals? Like I know like you are now in your age category, you're now in the top 10, right? In US in under 9 or 10.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So great, great. I know we had a kind of similar session. That was about, I think, 4 or 5 months ago. And now we have another session. Great to see the win. Very happy, very proud of you. Because I remember when I beat my first Grandmaster, I was around 9 years as well, 9.5, I think. I don't remember exactly, but around 9.5. So it's, I think, a start, right? So now you will be playing more Grandmasters when you play, more top federated events and stronger opponents. And, like, I think this will give you the confidence to approach saying like, I can keep pushing right from the start, right? That's important because many a times we might think like, oh, they might completely outplay me. But now that you have a result, you can be like, okay, I can play in equal terms. I can push when I have a chance and so on. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. That's critical. So, and how did your team react? Like your 4-member team from when you beat.
They, well, they gave me a high five and they were like surprised and proud of me.
And so your team won like 3-1, yeah, that particular round.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. And how about your parents? How did they react? They were surprised or they were like
Yeah,
happy?
they were surprised and happy.
Okay, they were following the game as well, like they were there on the tournament hall.
Um, sometimes they come,
Okay.
sometimes oh, they are outside the hall.
Okay, fantastic, fantastic. So thanks for showing the game, and that's so great to see the game, Gurugrahan, So, hoping to see more Grandmaster wins so that we can talk about it in the future. Yeah. Thanks for joining. Thank you. So, thanks, Gurugrahan, for joining. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. So to all the viewers, so that was the game Gurugrahan played against Grandmaster Dmitry Gurevich in US amateur team. And so we saw this, marathon game. Basically, 60 moves were discussed, but it was a 90 plus move game. And we'll see you all in another video where we talk about other chess concepts or game analysis. Thanks everyone for joining in. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Thank you.